Hello everyone, we are here with our social subject today. Let's move on with history for today's class. Let's see our past one. Being inquisitive is natural to humans. Have you ever asked your grandparents to narrate stories like, when we were young, we did this, things were like this, and so on? It's a natural tendency of human being to explore how the world and the human society has grown from times immemorial. All knowledge in this respect has been recorded by people and passed in book of history. So children, what is said in the slide is normally we'll have a tendency of getting to know the details of others. It is a natural habit of human being. Have you asked your grandparents like when we were young we did this, why did we did this, what, how we were? So like this we'll have so many questions. So get to know from your grandparents about your childhood memory, about their childhood memory. So we'll have a history of their life too. Like from our ancestors we'll get to know so many things. So it's a natural tendency of human being to explore how the world and the human society has grown from times immemorial. So normally we'll have the tendency to explore how the world has been before and how it is going to be. Normally we'll be trying to know more details about history, right? So all knowledge in this respect has been recorded by people. So in the previous years, so in our ancestors time, they have recorded, people have recorded, by people it is recorded and it is written in the book of history. When, where and how. This is our chapter of today. We are going to learn when, where and how. Things that are going to be learned today is meaning of history, reason to study history, time frame under study, geographical framework, reason for the movement of people. These are the learning objectives of today. Children, let's see the meaning of history now. History is nothing but it is the study of the events that happened in the past in the sequence of occurrence. We get to know about how early humans lived and progressed over thousands of years. So, it is the events that happened in the past, whatever that happened in the past in the sequence of occurrence. So, in the sequence of years, we'll try to know the history, whatever happened in our previous years. And we get to know about how early humans, our ancestors lived, how our ancestors lived and progressed over thousands of years. Reason to study history. It's important to know history as it helps us understand how human beings have evolved over a period of time. To know how humans discovered and invented various things. Example, living in caves to reaching the moon. To know how cultural, social and scientific development took place. To know how people explored the world by traveling on land and on water without any maps or navigational tools. History helps us learn from the mistakes of the past and allows us to take better decisions. So children, why should we know history? What's the reason for studying history? It helps us to understand how human beings have evolved over a period of time. How the evolution has made over a period of time. Also it tells us how humans discovered and invented different things, various things. Various means different things. For example, humans evolved from living in caves to reaching the moon. In the early ages, people were living in caves. Now, even people are reaching the moon. So, how they have discovered and invented things and they have just reached this part of period. And it also tells us about how cultural, social and scientific development took place. Also, it tells us people explored the world by traveling over thousands of kilometers on land and on water without any help, without any maps or navigational tools. Also, it helps us to learn from the mistakes whatever we have made in the past and allows us to take better decisions even now and in the future too. Have a look at this picture, children. Evolution of man. How man has evolved from the early ages till now. In a nutshell, it tells us how we have reached our current state, which helps us to understand ourselves, our society and our surroundings better. Time frame under study. The earth was formed billions of years ago. Life came into being in various forms slowly and gradually. Scientists believe that humans came into existence about 2 lakh years ago based on the remains and signs they have found. Study of history is divided into 3 periods: the ancient history, the medieval history, the modern history. So children, scientists believe that, scientists give us a hope that humans came into existence, humans came into the world of living about 2 lakh years ago. How many years ago? 2 lakh years ago. And how did they find this? Based on the remains and signs whichever was left out. Okay. And study of history. Studying this history is divided into 3 parts. Not only a single part is divided into 3 parts. What are the parts? The ancient history, the medieval history and the modern history. Children, actually these 3 periods, the ancient history and the medieval history, modern history, are not standard across the world, but most of the world has accepted this division of history. So in our class today, we shall study about the ancient history. In ancient history, we study the time between 5 lakh BC to 800 AD. We study about the early ages, the beginning of history here. So the time between 5 lakh BC to 800 AD. BC and AD are the terms to measure time. BC means before Christ, AD means Anno Domini, which means after the birth of Jesus Christ. So we use the terms BC and AD. BC means before Christ, AD means Anno Domini, after the birth of Jesus Christ. Birth of Jesus Christ. Reference point from where historians count dates. All the dates before the birth of Christ are counted backwards and are denoted by the letters BC. Example, 3000 BC means 3000 years before the Christ was born. The dates after the birth of Christ are counted forward and are denoted by the letters AD, which means in the year of Lord. So children, we have the terms of BC and AD here. Actually, the birth of Jesus Christ is taken as the reference point from where historians count dates. They used to count the dates from the birth of Jesus Christ. For example, if you take 3000 BC, if they say 3000 BC means, it means that 3000 years before the Christ was born. Not after that, before the Christ was born. And also they said that the dates after the birth of Christ are counted forward. So before the birth of Christ is counted backward and after the birth of Christ is counted forward and are denoted by the letters AD, which means in the year of Lord. Nowadays, historians used to prefer the terms BCE and CE instead of BC and CD. BCE before Common Era, CE Common Era. Children, listen here. Before they were using the terms BC and AD, which means birth of Jesus Christ and Anno Domini, after the birth of Jesus Christ. And after that, which means nowadays historians do prefer the terms BCE and CE. That is, instead of BC, they call BCE. That is before Common Era. And instead of CE, they use instead of AD they use CE, which is Common Era. So have a look at the picture and you can get a clear view. BC by AD, BCE and CE, historical terms. which means birth of Jesus Christ and after the birth of Jesus Christ. And now it is in a secular term, it is changed to before the common era and common era. To calculate the difference between dates in BCE and CE, we add both the years. It tells us how many years were there between these 2 years. Example, let's presume an incident occurred in 1500 BCE and a similar incident occurred in 1200 CE. To calculate the time when the event repeated, we have to simply add 1500 BCE and 1200 CE, and we know that the incidents occurred 2700 years apart. For example, 1500 plus 1200 is equal to 2700. So children, we know the incidents occurred. So how many years apart? So the same incident, if it is repeated, how many years after that it has been repeated? To know the calculation of this, they use the terms of adding BCE and CE. Okay. Let's see geographical framework now. The geographical location of a place has a huge impact on its history. Factors such as type of land, soil, availability of water, climate affect human settlements. Generally, people prefer to live in areas where environment is favorable for living. So here we learn about the geographical framework class. The geographical location of a place has a huge impact on its history. So in history, geographical location of people started moving from place to place. So why? Because of the factors such as type of land. So which type of land they live in and which type of soil are there. Availability of water is must for them. Climate effect and how climate is affecting human settlements. And normally people used to prefer in areas where environment is supporting them for living. We can't live in every places. Thus nature has to support us in circumstances. In India, humans first settled on the banks of the 3 big rivers. They are the Indus, the Ganga, the Brahmaputra. What are the rivers? The Indus, the Ganges and the Brahmaputra. So, human beings first settled on the banks of these 3 big rivers. I have added the Indus, the Ganges and the Brahmaputra pictures for your reference. Have a look at it. So, people started living near these areas in the early ages. The Indus, the Ganges and the Brahmaputra. Mighty kingdoms like Magadha emerged in the Indo-Gangetic plain. They settled in these areas due to the following advantages: fertile land, nearby source of water for their needs, good climate, rivers served as a means of transport. Himalayas in the north separates India from Central Asia and protects it from the cold winds. So children, mighty kingdoms like Magadha, very big kingdoms like Magadha kingdoms, they emerged. Emerged means moved. So they moved in the Indo-Gangetic plains. So the plains means the land where they can live. So Indo-Gangetic plains they moved into. Why? Because they settled here is fertile land, nearby source of water for their needs, good climate, rivers served as a means of transport, which means fertile land. Fertile land is, what is fertile land? The land or soil that is fertile is able to support the growth of a large number of strong healthy plants. So they thought that okay, it is a place for them to live, and nearby they had water too. They didn't want to go anywhere else for their needs of water. So they thought that okay, it is the best place for living, and they had a good climate over there. Also transport was a very big problem for them. So rivers served as a means of transport during that time. Not only that, Himalayas in the north separated India from Central Asia and it protected India from the cold winds. Same time, the passes in the mountains allows movement of people, especially the traders and travelers, and helped in development of trade and exchange of cultures. In the south, the long coastline of India allowed trade with Rome to flourish. Children, have a look at the picture for your reference. Same time, the passes in the mountain allows movement of people, which means the passes in the mountains. What is the passes in the mountains? A mountain pass way. A mountain way is a navigable route through a mountain range or over a ridge. So the way that allowed them to move from place to place, especially the traders and travelers, they had to move from place to place, and this mountain pass was helpful for them and in development of trade and exchange of cultures. Also in the south, the long coastline of India allowed trade with Rome to flourish. Flourish means to be strengthy. Thus the oceans also helped in exchange of goods, religious and cultural ideas. Exchange of goods and ideas slowly led to the development of civilizations and growth of towns and cities. With the passage of time, they developed into huge kingdoms. So not only the mountain passes, even the oceans also helped in exchange of goods to take the things from this place to another place, from one place to another place. So exchange of goods, religious and cultural ideas were used over there. Exchange of goods and ideas slowly led to the development of civilizations. So this exchange of goods and ideas slowly, very day by day, led to the development of civilization. So it became a development of civilization and growth of towns and cities. So goods and ideas exchange has become a growth of towns and cities in the development of civilization during this period. So with the passage of time, they developed into huge kingdoms. So day by day, when years pass, they have developed into huge kingdoms, a very big kingdom. Reasons for the movement of people. People moved from place to place for various reasons. The following reasons can be attributed to movement of people. People moved in search of food. In case of natural disasters like floods and famines, religious leaders moved to spread their teachings. Traders moved to sell their goods to far off places. Kings sent their armies to conquer land. People traveled to discover new lands. All this helped in the exchange of ideas and mixing of people and cultures. Children will know about the reasons for the movement of people now. So from that age, this people started moving from one place to another place for various reasons. No, they were not staying in a single place. They were just moving from one place to another place for different reasons. And what were the reasons? Main reasons, few reasons were there. They are people moved in search of food. They didn't get enough food. So in the place where they were living, they needed more food, so they were going to another place for searching food. In case of natural disasters, if any natural disasters happened in the place where they lived, like floods and famines, and they moved to the another place for living a better life. Religious leaders, so normally religious leaders, they used to move from place to place for preaching whatever they know, right? So religious leaders also moved from place to place to spread their teachings. And traders moved to sell their goods. They cannot, normally traders cannot be in a single place. They need to go to another place for selling their goods. So they travel to far off places to sell their goods. And kings sent their armies to conquer land. So kings wanted to just chase another land also. So they were sending their armies to conquer land, to catch up different lands. People traveled to discover new lands. So people traveled also to discover new lands. They wanted to travel to another land for just discovering what is there. And all these things helped in exchange of ideas and mixing of people and cultures. So different kind of people they met, different kind of cultures they met, and they exchanged with the ideas of each and every one. So children, in our class we have just saw the introduction of what is history and what's the reason of studying history and how the time has been changed under study and what are the geographical works have been done and why people have moved from place to place. And we'll see the remaining parts in our next class. We'll just see the map work of today, which means the river locations, the Indus, the Ganges and the Brahmaputra. Since it is mentioned in our lesson, we'll just see where are the rivers located. In detail we'll be having in the other classes. Have a look at the picture children, where the rivers, the Indus, the Ganges and the Brahmaputra is located. It's just for a reference, just have a look at it, and if it is in detail we'll be having a separate class for map. This is the end of today's class children. Let's meet in the next class. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.